Hello, good evening. Welcome to Talkin Kop. It's me, Chris Brack. I'm here with Ashley and Kev. Sorry, we're late. Kev was sorting his hair out. You know what he's like.
Yeah,
Anyway, if we're back. God, I feel like we haven't talked about football for ages.
we
Are
haven't.
you looking forward to it, Ashley?
I am looking forward to it. I am ready for a new chapter, a new page. There's been so much shit that we've been talking about over the last 2 weeks. I'm ready for something good.
Yeah, the Patreon shows are good though, Kev. We enjoyed that, didn't we?
I haven't been on a podcast. It feels like forever. It feels ages, way before the trend stuff. So I haven't been around at all. Loved it. It's been nice to have a complete total detox from football. And I was saying to Ashley before we came on, it's like I don't think I watched hardly any of the international football. I watched last half hour of the City Bournemouth game over the weekend because there was nothing else on the telly. And I'm looking forward to this now coming back. But it's like this international break reminded me how much football saturation there is throughout a season and how much football there is. It's mental because I years ago I used to love sitting down and watching like Spanish football, German football, Italian football, whatever it was. I used to be consuming it all the time when the Premier League were only showing maybe 2 games on a weekend. Now it's just non-stop all the time. And it's too much. I mean, I can't imagine what it must be like for players as well. It's no wonder you saw them going in the lead up to the international break. And it wasn't just Liverpool, by the way. There was a lot of clubs. You could see their legs were hanging out of them from February into March. And I don't know. I think the game are going to have a serious look at this calendar because it can't carry on. It's it's way too much. And I mean, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward to the fact that we've got back-to-back games. It's really good because we won't have that now for the rest of the season. It'll be 1 game a week for us. But it's going to be tough as well for slot in a way because you think about it from when European football started. What, back in September? From September right the way through, we've virtually been 2 games a week, almost constant. So this will probably be the first time since pre-season that he's going to be able to sit down for a week, plan out a game, work on tactics for a game, and then execute that on the weekend, and then go the same again until the end of the season. So like so much to look forward to. It's gonna. I mean, it's all there for us on a plate. It's just to go and get it now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I must admit, I've enjoyed the break. I think I watched Holland against Spain. And I think that was it in terms of men's football. And then, as you guys saw from my messages, my weekend started well, and it
Yeah,
ended very badly. So, context: my daughter scored her first goal for her club, so to get through to the semi-final of the cup. So dead happy. Then Liverpool women were playing second bottom of the league, so you thought good chance for a win, and it was the worst game of football of the season for them. It was awful, and we lost 2-1. And the winning goal was set up by ex-Red Missy Bokerns. So that just about summed it up. I was like, for fuck's sake. So I was not in a good mood. And then City went and won. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So, evening to Davey T. Good to see him back and good to see him in the chat as always. So, Ashley,
Yeah.
normally we're all a bit concerned coming out of the international break because normally we've literally just wheeled McAllister off the plane, still with his oxygen mask, doesn't know what time zone he's in. Yeah, he's not woke up yet. He doesn't know where he is. He just keeps running round and can't stay awake. I sort of feel like this might be good for us. In fact, that Slot's had a week to actually do tactics with the team, whereas all season, as Kev right said, it's been rest, recovery, next game, rest, recovery. It's not really training ground time where you can try lots of new things. So I'm intrigued to think because when Slot has had a week, I've done that twice now. When Slot's had a week,
Big rhyme.
It tends to throw something different in because he's able to work on it with the players. And look, he's got a few tactical challenges because, well, I mean, Liverpool have only got 3 injuries to what you call first team players, but they're all in the same position, which is just a bit of a that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit mad that we've got all three of our right backs out. I mean, we do have options, but they're not our first choice. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I can't remember coming back from an international break and not having a game right away. I can't remember that's the last time that's happened for us off the top of my head. So I don't know. I mean, I think whenever we come when we come back from international breaks, oftentimes we look a little bit sluggish. We look a little bit, kind of like the team isn't gelling. I am curious to see if this period of time that we've had, I don't know, I guess it's really only about 5 days that they've really had together. I'm curious if that can negate some of that sluggishness, because that's really the last thing that I want to see against Everton. I think it's one of those games that if you can't get up for that, I don't know what you can get up for. So I want to see, I just want to see them come out fresh. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, I kind of just want to turn the page on the couple of disappointing results that we had and really look forward to what is an amazing prospect that's on the table here. And I just want to see the team kind of get down to business. And I think I said it in the chat the other night when the guys were talking on Sunday, I don't really care if they're absolutely flying. I just want to see them apply themselves. And I want to see if, maybe the break has done a little bit of good for someone like a Gravenberch, perhaps. I'm hoping that we can just see them gel and put together a performance that I don't think we've really seen for about a month, which is crazy. I mean, we're talking about the international break being a long time, but we're also kind of compounding that with several meh results that happened before the break. And I think I want to go back to the team that we know and love. And I know that they're there. And so that's what I want to see on Wednesday.
Yeah, Kev, I mean, the international break was probably the next bag for us. Basically, Gravenberch got a winter break, which he needed. Alisson got a bang in the head, but it wasn't a concussion. So, he only played one game. I think Jota got minutes, which he needed. I think Gakpo got minutes, which he desperately needed. Konate didn't play a lot, which is fine. I mean, partly because he was dog shit against for France, but
probably
also
needed the break as well.
But also needed the break as well. The only one who played a lot was, as they pointed out in the after out, Virgil managed to play 2.5 games, but there was only 2 games, which is quite an impressive feat, But other than that, I think the likes of Jota looked a bit sharp for Portugal. Diaz got a couple of goals for Colombia. I think Nunes got minutes for Uruguay. I don't know how well he played, but it sort of feels like the ones who needed minutes got minutes.
Yeah, they got minutes, but Robertson as well for Scotland, but Scotland got pilloried in their games. I saw the results. I didn't watch any of the games, but the players who you want to play played. We knew that it's going to be a pretty intense international break for the Dutch, because playing against Spain over 2 legs in a knockout game is going to be tough for anyone. And the fact that it went all the way, it is what it is.
Good game, though.
You got to deal with it.
It was a good game.
I'd imagine it was 2 top sides. So, I'm not surprised at that. The only thing, I think Gravenberch probably went there injured and to be assessed and was sent back. It's kind of funny watching. I've seen a clip of Frimpong when he was when he met up with Ryan Gravenberch for the Dutch squad, and he was like, "All right, mate. Trying to make it mimic a Scouse accent. And that. I was like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to read too much into it, but
well, speaking of reading into things, let's do a bit of that because it's good fun. Because there's 2 things that we could all read into. One was that, which you found is that the nod and the wink, and then, despite what social media would tell you, it looks like actually the Liverpool players don't hate Trent Alexander-Arnold because he was having a lovely time with Konate and Szoboszlai and Salah, and look, read into what you want. Salah releases stuff on social media for a reason. We all know he knows the game. He knows the game better than most. But I did find that quite funny because lots were convinced they all hated Trent, and he was absolutely fine because they all know the game. They all know that's just part of the game. But you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Everyone's out here like body language experts all of a sudden. I mean, they're teammates at the end of the day.
He's staying now. Did you not know? Apparently, he's guaranteed to stay now.
I don't want to read that far into it, but it is funny, like how, like that's their real life. Like I'm sure they're sitting on their phones being like, you know, it'd be funny if we all posted this video together. Like,
oh yeah,
they probably just think it's funny and it's great. You know, I don't care if they're bonded as a team till the end of the season. Like that's what you want to see. Like we can deal with the baggage that comes with some of these players at the end of the season. I want them to kind of be getting along and to be bantering together. And, you know, again, just sort of parking the baggage that we've been able to park all season, which has been to the credit of the team, to the coach, to everyone, because there is clouds and things that are hanging over the club. But I don't want that to detract from, you know, what's going hopefully to happen in the next like 2 months. You know, and it's like, it's the same thing with the McAllister side eye in that behind the scenes YouTube thing. People are reading into it so much. It's funny. Like we're all just bored out of
that's
our
just
minds.
his face. It was like going, oh, he's
come back.
giving him death stares. I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. But this is, again, like I said, it's just, we all need football to get back so that we can kill these narratives and talk about something new. Because whether it was I think going into an international break after kind of like a couple of bad games, tacking on the Trent news, like all of a sudden it's just sort of like stirring the pot of like bad juju around Liverpool. I just want to get that out the door and just get something new in.
Do you know what though? Do you know what's really annoyed me, Kev? Although I have had, as if people who follow me on social media know, I've had some fun today. One thing the Trent news has brought out is all the ITKs are back. All the links are back, all the contract stuff back, and I have had an absolute wonderful afternoon of taking the piss because it's found so many contradictions. I love it. I love winding them up. It's so much fun.
I do not miss Liverpool Twitterati one little bit. I don't miss.
So
I just don't miss it. I just find it hilariously stupid. I mean, look, if people didn't know by now, football is a business, first and foremost. These players are out to make as much money as humanly possible in a short career, and they want to extend that into their after career. And however they want to do it, they're going to do it. I listened to the lads last night, and they were talking about Trent. Look, I haven't been around, so I haven't had my 2 cents on Trent at all. But this was as predictable as the day is long. I think we probably even suggested something was off when he signed a 4-year contract back when he did, because it was just weird.
Michael,
you know, a lot of players at the time were signing the 5 and the 5.5-year deals.
Jota and Allison at the exact same time.
Yeah, it was a 4-year deal. The club have managed this situation really badly, allowing 3 major players on with their contracts to expire in the same summer, irrespective of where you thought 3 years ago where Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, or Trent Alexander would be. But at the same time, it's catch-22. What do you do with someone like Trent with 12 months to go? Is he worth more to you to keep him and let him go on a free, knowing that odds are with him, you have a really good chance of winning something? Or do you try to force him out and try to get a fee for him and gamble, and it could blow up in your face, and it could blow up with the squad as well? You don't know how that would have landed. They decided to stick. They would have known. They would have known for a while the situation that he was probably not going to sign. They'd have hoped he'd sign. They'd have put a deal an offer on the table for him. They'd have matched what Real Madrid are offering him wage-wise. But ultimately, the player wants to change and move. Fine. He's won everything that he can do at Liverpool. Sometimes more than once. If we finish off this season, he's got 2 league titles under his belt. He's 26 years of age, coming into the prime of his career, and he wants to go and play for the biggest club in the world, in Real Madrid. The difference is when you go to Real Madrid, and I've said this privately to you guys and on here as well, the Real Madrid media he will not get the same protection that he had at Liverpool. He will not get the same level of diplomacy coming out for his defensive errors, his defensive liabilities when
it'd be like Gary Neville in Overdrive, but it'd be like 15 Gary Neville's doing that.
You got to look at what Madrid.
It'll be like the the fans of his being like Gary Neville. I feel like it's
Yeah.
different because Gary
Look.
Neville's a rival, but it'll be like that coming from his own club, which is tough.
But you also have to look at the fact that look at what they've had for the last decade. Danny Carvajal has probably been the most consistent right back at elite level for a long, long time. He gets up and down like nobody else. He can defend brilliantly. He can run the line brilliantly. He can get into the other end of the box and affect games as well. Trent is going to be for the wages they're going to be putting him on and the signing fee they're going to pay for him. The expectations on him are going to be huge. So he's going to have to survive the Madrid media. And that's how I think it's going to be, because they're going to expect him to come in and be prime Marcelo or prime Roberto Carlos. And that's the level they expect. That's what they're paying the 50, 60, whatever million signing on fee for, and the big wage on top. So look, it'll be what it'll be. He'll go on. On the playing side, I think he'll do fine at Madrid, but I think the media is going to be intense, and it's going to be something that he's never experienced before. But for us, I think it's pretty well known. We've been knocking it about for a while that he's going. So the club will have planned for a summer to have their business lined up. They'll know who their targets are now. You're already seeing it in the press. You know the names that we're starting to get linked with tell you pretty much where the club are going to be looking at. It might not be that individual player that we're looking to sign, though. But it's the position that we're getting linked with, and some of it is very common sense. It's common sense that we're going to be looking for a striker. No doubt we're going to be looking for a right back, and odds are to talk about Kirkes has been around for a year.
Kirkes feels a bit like the McAllister one. That almost feels like the deal everyone knows is getting done. The rest are a bit more up in the air.
You're starting to see like quotes coming out and things like that for price tags, and I feel like once that starts kind of getting the ball rolling, I don't know.
I was listening to what Shawty was saying last night, and he's dead right. He's like, I'm looking forward to what this new structure can produce, given what they've produced in Bournemouth. And you see the style of football that Hughes has bought for. He's had a year to work with Arne Slot, so he knows what Arne Slot is going to be looking for in a player. And he's going to have to buy to fit that mold that Arne Slot can work with and improve those players. So
I also think for maybe more Slot than, because he will have an input. I know he's a head coach, but he will have an input. The level of player that they need, because I'm sure like most players have an idea, managers, the level that they think it is. But I think the level Liverpool have been played at has maybe even surprised Slot a little bit, going, right, okay, so to take this on further, it's actually a different level I need to go for, so maybe it is a level above that he was thinking.
Yeah, could be. At the end of the day,
that also realise that what Hughes and Ed have to do.
But we'll chat about Everton in a minute, but you're starting off against Everton with a target of trying to achieve 97 points in your first season. And that's what's on the table. 97 points are on the table. So whether we can do it or not, who knows? But that has to be the target. Every club, when you come to this to the time of the season, I remember watching Man City when they broke 100 points. Everyone thought with 5 or 6 games to go, the league was won. No one was close. And they just didn't stop. And it was almost a case of, we're not going to stop because we're driving a message home for next season. It's not about this season. We already know that this season is won. You're driving a message home for next season that you might think you're in with a chance against us, but you really aren't. We're playing at a different game. We're playing a different game to everyone else, and at a different level. And that level needs to be in the mid. If we can get to a level where we're in the mid-90s, and you look at the gap of where everyone else is at the minute, that's where everyone has to try to catch up. And I'd hate to be in a situation. Look, we all want to win the league. I'd hate to see us win the league, put the feet up, and just coast for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
because I just think it sends out all the wrong messages for next year. You know,
let's talk about the Blues anyway. So just to put into context, form wise, they're for the last 10 games, they're ninth of the form guide, 4 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. I think the 1 loss was Moyes' first game, which is a tough game at home to Villa. And then the last 6, they've won 1, drawn 5. So he has made them what they were when he was first there. Nightmare to beat. The only encouragement for Liverpool is the one thing they haven't been able to quite get right yet for the balance is they're not keeping clean sheets. They're drawing games, but they're always 1-1s, 2-2s, or 2-1 wins, And you got to think of the derby, actually, we were crap. Let's put it in a nice play. We were crap in the derby, but still put 2 past them. So you'd like to think if Liverpool play any close to their level, there is opportunities there for Liverpool, despite, we're having a makeshift right back, and our forward line hasn't been fantastic, but it'd be interesting to see what Liverpool do, because there are definitely opportunities there for Liverpool.
There are. I mean, I don't think we played particularly well in that Everton game. I think that was sort of one of the first kind of rocking the boat kind of moments that we've had. We had the Wolves game, I think, that was right next to it as well. It wasn't a great performance. That being said, we still, outside of an absolute banger of a goal from, I think it was Tarkowski, we would have won that game, and we would have been in a very, very healthy position at this point in the league. So we can get it done. I mean, I think it's going to be different at Anfield. I think they were really out to prove a point with it being the last derby at their home ground before they move and all of that jazz. I think there was, an understory there that hopefully won't be there with Anfield. I think that there's, I think some people probably go out with the idea of, oh, we have something to prove. There's revenge. Like I said earlier, I just want to see them come out and execute a plan and look like they know what they're doing, because I think going back to that first Everton game, we could barely get a foot on the ball. We could not get a string of passing together because they were so disruptive. And, that's what they're going to do, because they're,
we couldn't get either wide. Yeah, we couldn't get either wide forward. I mean, that's probably the quietest game we've seen Gakpo. I mean, that's unfortunate. That was the game he picked up his ankle injury as well, Kev. But that was probably a big factor for us, as we couldn't get the informed player at the time, Gakpo, in the game. But looking at the Everton lineup and looking at their injury, who's missing, I think from the side that played against West Ham, 10 of them are confirmed fit. I think the only doubt they've got is the left back, which is Mikalenko. So, assuming Mikalenko's fit, assuming Mikalenko's fit, you would think that the starting level will be Pickford, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Braithwaite, Mikalenko, Gahey, Garner, Harrison, Decore, Alcaraz, better.
Yeah. Is Lindstrom available?
He's fit, so he may come in. He may come in instead. He may come in for Harrison, possibly.
Yeah, I think they probably go.
He played well actually in the.
Yeah, but I think they go for that kind of player over a Harrison because of the work rate. I'm more interested, like Ashley was saying, I'm more interested in what we do. It's we need to see crisper passing, faster movement. Possession, yeah, you want to keep possession and you want to work the ball through the thirds. I don't think you can go long against Everton. I think Everton will have looked at the Newcastle game as a way to nullify our threat in behind. They'll just simply drop and encourage us to play a long ball. I mean, Jake O'Brien is 6'5", and he'll be playing the fullback. They've got 3 centre backs basically across their back 4. They'll want balls in the air, and they'll look for us to try to do that. I think the best way we can go at this game is to pull them about and just manage the ball and go back to what we were doing, being patient, but being direct when it was there. Having the threat in behind is one thing, but you don't have to go there from the off. And I felt like we did that against Newcastle at Wembley. We were too direct, too often, and we didn't try to work through their press. And we literally gave the ball back too much for them. I mean, at home, having most of the players, I don't know when they'd have all been back, because I've seen a lot of the players after they played their international break. I think they might have had an extra couple of days off where they were, I think some of them went to Paris, some of them were in London. I don't know when they actually got back to Liverpool. I think it might have been Sunday, but even if it was like you're back in training Sunday, you've had Sunday, Monday to prepare, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to prepare for this, I'd imagine. So there's no excuses, apart from right back. Every position is pretty much covered all the way through. So it's just a case of how we're going to execute what we want to do. Even though we were really not at the races in that derby, we threw it away to a fluke at the end. We still scored 2. Even when we've been playing poorly, we've still been averaging 2 goals a game. And I want to get away from that playing poorly and just getting a job done to seeing a performance. And, you almost, I want to come on to the post-match tomorrow night and just I really do that. And it's hard to do that in a derby game because derbies tend to be
I hate that.
Crazy.
What happens tomorrow? Because it's not till Wednesday.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? They tend to be those type of horrible, ugly, nasty games. We don't have to. We don't, and that's only. It'll only get that way if we allow it to be that way. If we manage to go and pull them around, they won't be able to live with us. I'll be back in 2 minutes. All right.
Yeah. Actually, I think the last derby I enjoyed was probably the one I went to, which we won 5-2, and Klopp put out the maddest side you'd ever see. He just lit.
Side, I feel like he threw out Shaqiri for that one.
Shaqiri, Lallana in the 6, Origi was up front. You just go, wow, what's going on here? This is wild. It was a mad game as well. It was brilliant.
He did it all the time. It was like somehow he managed to show so much disrespect while also just bringing out the maddest results possible, where it was like he was proved right the whole time. I don't think it's gonna be like that, but
no, I don't think it'd be like that. What I would quite like to see is, and listen, the Rio Ferdinands of the world and all that, they've obviously look, they're rivals. They'll enjoy Liverpool having a crappy couple of weeks going out to cup competitions, and we've had Gary Neville rewriting the narrative on Trent and however no one really liked him, and I quite liked for rarity Carragher called his bullshit out, where Carragher correctly said Liverpool fans didn't like me till I was 27, and I used to go games. Probably pre-Rafa, loads wasn't Carragher sold. No one rated him. He was really not that well liked. Bit the shit Curtis Jones gets now. Carragher was getting that. So, but look, we know why they're doing it. It's because they're worried, because you need to do anything they can to make it feel better, because they know this league's going to get won by Liverpool. In terms of Liverpool starting 11, I could argue 9 are boxed, and there's 2 positions we're going. Bit of a flip for a coin, and we can have a bit of a debate. So I think I think it's right back in number 9. I think the other positions are sorted. So I would say Ali's going to start in goal.
Yep.
Konate, Robertson, Van Dijk. The usual midfield 3 of McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai.
Mm-hmm.
I think Salah will start, and then we can have a bit of a debate, because with them starting O'Brien, who is 6 foot odd, it can negate one thing that Gakpo's already got, is being the more physically dominant than his fullback. And I do wonder if maybe keeping Diaz wide might actually suit us more against an O'Brien, more of a tricky winger, which isn't really Gakpo's game. As for the number 9, I could give you a case for Jota, I could give you a case for Nunes, I could give you a case for Diaz. I could also give you a case for not starting any of them.
I mean, I could give you a case for Chiesa at this point.
Yeah, you could do it. I don't think Chiesa's going to
No, I don't think so either. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I mean, For me, I feel like the last couple of games felt like we were hitting our head against the wall, kind of trying the same thing over and over again when it clearly wasn't working. I don't know if he's going to revert back to Diaz at the 9 with Gakpo on the left.
I mean, that's been his trusted front three. That's probably the one he's played the most. It
feels like
this season.
That's kind of been the most effective, even though it's not perfect. It really isn't. I don't love Diaz in that role, but it's been more effective than what we've seen with Jota, and it's been more effective than what we've seen from Nunes. I think Nunes is a great break glass option at the end of a game to throw a little bit of chaos in. Like I said, I didn't watch a ton of international football. So, it seemed like from what I heard that Gakpo was finding form again. It looked like I saw Diaz's goals. They looked really good. I don't know where Jota is. He looks like he's been struggling, and he's been outward about that. He said it in press conferences that, he's not where he wants to be. He looks like he's not where he wants to be. That must have been a broken rib when he had that injury to have it kind of have this domino effect this late into the season, but he hasn't looked effective.
He hasn't looked right since that injury.
No, he hasn't at all. So if Gakpo's fit, I want to see Gakpo play. I think he's kind of what's been pulling us over the line when Mo Salah hasn't been performing. I think he's really been like the shining light of that front line. So I want to see him play if he's fit.
Yeah, I think Ashley's right, Kev. If Gakpo's fit, you want him to start, because I think when he was on form, it just took the pressure off Mo, because teams are going, well, I can't just double up on Mo because I leave Gakpo free. So then people go have to worry about Gakpo, which then means they can't double up on Mo. One creates a gap for the other, whereas the way the front three have been performing, I think a lot of teams the last couple of weeks have just gone, double up on Mo, and the other two aren't going to do anything. And that's how it's felt. Whether that's true or not is no matter, but it's felt like the people have just gone, double up on Mo, because the other two lads that played, Diaz and Jota, they aren't going to do anything to hurt us. So you worry about them if they get the ball. But what would you do for your front three?
What would I do?
What would you do, and what do you think Slot will do?
Right. What I would do is I'd play Curtis Jones at right back.
Yeah, we haven't talked about right back yet.
We've got to right back. Yeah, we're talking forwards, Kev. We'll come to right back.
Yeah. I would play Darwin through the middle, and I'd play Diaz on the left.
Okay.
And the reason I do it is because I think Diaz is just a better winger with a big unit in front of him. If you've got, O'Brien is a really effective defender, but he is a centre back, and Diaz can go either way. He can go left, right. He can go inside you. He can go outside you. And when he was playing for Colombia, they played him through the middle. He apparently played well. You read the match reports, and it's almost like, he's the main man. He's a star boy. When he goes there, everything is on him, and it was almost like a release being away from Liverpool. From the spotlight and the slump and the bad form and the in and out. He done okay. He done well on his international, while he's away for international duty. But I would have him on the left wing. And Darwin is just a nightmare for centre backs. He didn't score for Uruguay in either game, but he hasn't scored a goal. I don't think you're going to be looking at Darwin as going to be your goal scorer, but I think him playing will free up space for others, because if you leave him 1v1, he will get chances, and he will run and he will harass centre backs and he will annoy the living shit out of them. I don't think you can make a case for Jota. He's just woefully out of form, and
he's probably been protected. Jota's form has probably been protected by how Paul Nunes has been.
I know,
in a weird way.
But it's a case of what do you want? What are you going to get out of? I think you'll get more in the game out of Darwin within his pace, his physicality, and his willingness to run and bring others into play. than you will out of Jota trying to make runs off the shoulder or drop deep to link up there. The other option, which is what I think he'll do, is I think he'll start with Cody. I think he'll play Luis Diaz as your false 9, and he'll play Salah on his, on the other side. And I think he'll play Kwanzaa at fullback, and that's what I think he'll do. Because there's one thing, I listened to something else earlier, and I don't normally listen to anyone else, but they made a really valid point. You're into the stage now where he's going to go with what he knows. He's going to go with what he trusts, and he trusts that front three. And when you look at the goals that they've provided in this season, I think Diaz is on 9, or Gakpo's on 9.
He's our third top scorer, I think.
Yeah, so it's like Mo's going to be your main man, obviously, but the other two chip in as well. But it didn't work in the Everton game, but not much did. It's like we were 2-1 up going into the last few minutes.
Yeah. What was our starting lineup for Everton? I forget. Who was our front line for that game at Goodison?
That front three.
Gakpo,
Diaz, and okay.
Yeah, because this is the mad game where at 2-1 up, he brings Jota on.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't fit, and we were like, why is he bringing him on? And he was.
Yeah. I see a lot of people in the chat making the case for Chiesa. I'll tell you now, if he didn't pick Chiesa when Chiesa was fully fit and raring to go, and he had injuries, he's not going to play him now when he is done.
I think Chiesa's next start will be after they've confirmed the league title. Like after the league title's confirmed, I think then I think Chiesa will get start. Hopefully, my hope with Chiesa is because of the impact he made off the bench in the cup final.
Maybe he's one of the first subs or something.
He might look at him going, do you know what? If we need a goal, instead of me throwing Jota on, I might throw Chiesa on.
Yeah, I hope so.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah. He might say, like, right, Diaz, you've had your time. You've done your hour. I'm going to give Chiesa half an hour through the middle and see how that goes. That might be an interesting. Actually, I mean, Kev's saying he thinks Slot will go Kwanzaa at right back. I'm with Kev. I think for this game, I'd rather go Curtis Jones right back. 2 reasons is they haven't got their main left winger. His name is Ndai, is it? He's out injured, so
Ndai.
And I think Liverpool will have more of the ball. So I think Jones is better on the ball than Kwanzaa, and he could also do the invert thing. Whereas I would start Kwanzaa at right back away at Fulham, where I think it's a game you've got to have to defend more because Fulham are more likely to have a bit more of the ball. They've got more pace, so I think you'd actually want a bit more of a solid back line.
Unless Bradley's ready for Fulham, because he has been in training. I think they've said that the Everton game might be too soon for Bradley, but I think Fulham might be on the table. So
which would be a nice bonus.
Just getting through this one game. It seems like
I'd go with Jones personally, but
the other thing you got to consider is Konate came off injured for France after 45 minutes. Gravenberch was injured and didn't play at all.
Well, that's where I'm thinking Jones might have a role to play. Where I don't know how fit Gravenberch is, and if we're going to put
the French manager said he wasn't. The French manager said he wasn't injured. Said it was tactical. Because he basically pretty much called him out. Said he was playing crap.
He caught a knock in the game. So
yeah, I get the impression with Gravenberch. He's back. He was sent on holiday to go and have a chill. I kind of don't think you send a player on holiday if they've still got an injury. So I think Gravenberch is fine. I just think it was one knock too many, and I think this 2 weeks has probably been like a bit of a blessing for him. It's like a bit of a recharge, no football, mentally, reset yourself a little bit. So Gravenberch not too worried about.
The other thing you could do if you start with Curtis Jones at right back, if you think Conor Bradley is going to be available for Fulham, you give him 20 minutes at the end of this game, and then you can move Curtis Jones into midfield, take off Gravenberch if you wanted to take him off, or any of the others, and he's already up to speed in the game. Curtis Jones started in England's first game I don't know if I think he might have came on in their second game. Not sure, but
Can't remember actually. Let me go.
by all accounts, he played all right in that first game as well. You know, it's.
The one thing about starting Kwanzaa is, you know, someone put it back in the chat here. He has height, and one of the things that we're gonna have to deal with is a lot of set pieces. And the last thing I want to see is O'Brien being marked by McAllister. So if we could maybe sort that out and have, I don't know, someone that's like within 6 inches of the person they're marking on corners, like that would be great. So I don't know. I think that I think you're spot on with Slot, though. I think he's going to go with what he knows. Yeah, unless he has some sort of radical, I don't know, change of heart where he sees something in training where it's like, oh my God, this guy has really stepped up. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, the thing is, the press conference tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we'll find out a bit more about injuries then. But it's it wouldn't surprise me, actually. You mentioned about set pieces, that they could go with the physicality of you've Cody Gakpo, big tall guy, Darwin, good in the air. Good. Darwin's actually really good defending the front post.
When was the last time we saw that? When was the last time we saw?
He does that jumper thing, doesn't he, near post?
Together.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. I mean, the frustrating thing about the cup final was obviously the Dan Burns header we conceded is it's only the second time this season we've conceded from a corner. That's the frustrating thing about the cup final is generally, touch wood, our defending from corners has actually been really good. I think we've conceded 2 all season in all comps from corners. Yeah. That's the frustration. It's more been the wide free kicks. That's normally been a bit more of an Achilles heel for us this year.
You know that they're going to carry a threat from set pieces.
Yeah.
Look, David Moyes is a very good manager. He's a very good coach, and he's very good at setting up a side to nullify sides who are better than what he's got. And he's made a career of it, you know, where he's set up sides to nullify anyone or the threats that other sides have. Sometimes it works. A lot of the time it won't. But that's why games against sides that he manages don't tend to be, you know, they don't tend to be 3s and 4s. You know, they tend to be 1s, 2s, 2-1s, those kind of score lines. You might be comfortable in the game, but you don't tend to score that many against the way he sets up. And he's normally very good at drilling sides in set pieces. And I think their last 4, they've drawn their last 4. So, but they're all
since February 1st. So, you know,
they're going to be confident.
Close. They'll stay in games like it's 1-1 or 2-2, like most of their record.
Because I mean, I hope it doesn't come back to bite with the arse, but I tend to prefer to play Everton when they're confident. I think because the game opens up a bit more. I think the worst time to play Everton is when it's going into a derby when Everton are in a bit of a dip in form, because because then you just know it's dogs of war. It's a two banks of 5, and we ain't moving, and they'll do that for 90 minutes. And listen, don't blame it. You know, you play to your strengths. At least with this, they'll feel as a bit of a threat, which hopefully might play to our advantage.
I mean, the other thing that might be forced into is Ashley Young might be forced into playing at fullback. And if that's the case, Jake O'Brien can play left back or right back. It wouldn't surprise me if O'Brien is put out on Salah and Ashley Young comes in at right back, in which case you would want Cody Gakpo all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
I think last time we played it, I think the last home game we played with Ashley Young at left back, didn't he get sent off in the first half? Diaz did him twice.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly,
Diaz's trickery would be handy against Ashley Young. But again, unless they go with Seamus Coleman, who's not as rash.
I don't know if he's back,
but he's not as. He's on the bench against West Ham. So he's an.
If Seamus Coleman lines up, I'm not going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
as much of a top professional.
Is Dwight McNeil fit? Because I think he's training, but I don't know if he's ready to start.
The talk was him and Day and Calvert-Lewin at least another week or so away. Okay. I think they're like Joe Gomez. They've only just come back into training. I don't think, but we'll see. You know, they have habits of throwing these things in it. Who should I pick on? Kev, you could go first.
What's that, mate?
Prediction and goal scorers.
I'll go 2-0. Salah gets 2.
Okay. Nice and easy. Any red cards?
No.
No. Oh,
No.
Ashley.
I'm gonna go 2-1. I just, for some reason, I feel like clean sheets are hard to come by right now. I don't know. I just feel like there's always some sort of something weird happens in these games. But I think we're gonna win. I'll clarify, because last time I didn't clarify for Fulham, so I'm going to clarify. We're the winners.
I'm still off here for that. Arsenal for Life's coming in. He's put 1-0 Everton. Bless. Well, it's all right.
Arsenal for Life, thank you for coming and enjoying the show. We appreciate your contribution.
I haven't seen him for weeks. I haven't
know.
seen him for absolute weeks and months.
No.
Arsenal must have won a game or something. I haven't seen him for ages. Bless him.
No, I do appreciate, the fans that come in here and are good sports about it. Anyways, I think Mo gets back on the score sheet. I'm hoping he'll find his form a little bit. And I'm going to go Gakpo. I think, I want to see him get back into the score sheet as well.
Davey T's gone 3-0. Salah, Van Dijk, and he's put Pickford on goal with like a heart, with like a praying emoji.
Yes.
Yeah.
John's gone 1-0, nervy 1-0 Salah. Sam Tandy's gone 3-0, Salah hat trick. So Real Talk's gone 4-0 Everton.
Every time we get cocky and confident about this, like I feel like we regret it though.
I think he means 4-0 Liverpool, I'm assuming, because we'll feel the backlash of Liverpool's past couple of defeats. So I think that's what he means. We'll go with that. Yeah. I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go Salah, double, Van Dijk, and young Gahey and Nunez all get sent off, because that is how derbies go with Liverpool. So I just think that
I hope we don't. We just. Do you know what? I just want to. I just would love a performance. I want us to get back to the side we were, in the beginning of February. Where we just looked mean and horrible to play against, and we looked like we were creating and taking maybe 20, 25 shots in a game. Creating lots of chances and getting midfielders running beyond. I want to see Szoboszlai, a performance from him.
He just got married, so hopefully, he's got the wind under his wings and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind him just looking to get in beyond whoever plays up front and create that extra run into midfield. From midfield up front, and just do something, because he's more than capable. We know what the talent is there. You just want to see him turn up on the day, and not. You always get this with Everton. It's a derby. It's this, is that deal. Treat them how they are in the table. I think they're in 15th. They're a side coming to Anfield in 15th position. You should just be just dealing with those type of sides. Don't get involved. Don't get involved in the bullshit that they're going to try. Just look at them for how they are, play them for what they are, and just do your jobs. Simple as that. These derby games tend to be built up a lot more than what they really are, and they're only built up by the furore of press trying to generate.
Do you think Slot will handle it differently this time? Like, given now that he's gone through one of them and he's realized, okay, like this is how the refs handle this. Okay, this is how the game goes. It's not like we prepare for Everton like any other game. It's almost a thing unto itself. I mean, I think we have Sam Barrett as a referee, which hopefully he will have a better performance, like knock on wood. I don't think that's hard because I think the bar is very, very low. But do you think Slot goes into this
no sarcastic handshakes for a start? You can't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's going to be handshakes full stop. But do you think he enters this differently now that he's kind of gone through and seen like the lens that this game is now viewed through?
I hope so. I mean, I think it's really difficult for anyone who's involved. If you're on a sideline, it's difficult to not get caught up in the emotion. But you have to learn how to deal with it. It's part of the job. And it's the one thing that can be leveled out of this season is you can't be sitting in the stands like he has been. You know, it as understandable as it was, and on the night I was like, yeah, go on, have it. It can't become a trend because his next one will be 3 games. And
what he needs to do is put Johnny Heitinger in front and say to Johnny Heitinger, right, if it's anything controversial,
I mean, he had a great run. We should get him back.
You should get Johnny Heitinger running down the line doing knee slides in front of the Blues just for shits.
You're going to meet Allison in the middle of the pitch after like a fantastic.
Because it doesn't matter if you get suspended. Then we're not. It's less of a blow.
I mean, just having a look there. I mean, it's a big weekend. It's a big midweek, really.
I mean,
in
terms of the form guide, Fulham against Arsenal is 4th against 5th in the form guide. So, that'd be interesting. It'd be interesting how Fulham react after they were well beaten against Crystal Palace. And that would have been a bit like Bournemouth lost. That would have been a big blow to them. That was a real opportunity to get to a semi-final. I think they've only been at one before. So, it was... At home, you wouldn't have expected them to get beat 3-0. I mean, listen, got to be wrong. Palace are very, very good, and they played very well. But you probably expected a bit more from Fulham.
It almost looked like he was resting players for this week, like
rest of place for Arsenal.
Yeah,
top red, didn't he?
Well, I think that there's a chance that they could get into Europe, like a good chance.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
so he might be looking at this as, I have bigger fish to fry. I don't necessarily want to be in the cup. I mean, I know that every team wants to be in the cup, but I don't know.
They're only 2 points. I said they're only 2 points behind Brighton and Newcastle. So it's not unthinkable. I mean, they're only they're only three off City in 5th.
Exactly.
So
you've got Nottingham Forest against Manchester United as well. That's a massive test for Forest if they have the ambition, if they can carry on the way they're going. I mean, it's ridiculous what they're doing. It really is. But
they haven't dropped off, though. Like, everyone thought they'd fall off a cliff. They haven't. No.
And at home against Manchester United, against this version of Manchester United, they will expect 3 points. And you can't, that's something that you couldn't have said probably since the mid-80s. That Forest will be heavy favourites against Manchester United. But it's a game, I think, that they desperately need to be taking 3 points if they have ambitions of finishing in the top 4 or 5.
Yeah, and then
he rested a lot of players too. Like, he had a lot of players that he pulled off the bench to try to get that over the line with Brighton. I mean, they got really unfortunate with Wood getting that injury. I think that could impact where they finish for sure. But like, even the way that they started, I thought that they would have. I was surprised that they kept so much firepower on the bench, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Wednesday, the other games for teams chasing Europe, you've got Newcastle at home to Brentford. David T saying St. James will be rocking on Wednesday night. Will beat Brentford, which you would expect Newcastle to.
Brentford actually travel well. Brentford are actually better away from home than they are at home. And the thing is with Newcastle, they'll be buzzing after the League Cup final. But if they've decided, we've got a trophy and that's the highlight of the season, and we can just turn up and as Davey says, just roll over Brentford. Thomas Frank has a very good knack of being a party pooper. That's a tough night's work for Newcastle. I don't care what they've done in the League Cup. This is one that they have to get a result in.
And
that brings its own kind of pressure.
It is a Brighton Villa. If Villa win, they'll leapfrog Brighton into 7th. If Brighton win, they will go above Chelsea, who are currently 4th, before they play on Thursday. And Chelsea have got Spurs, which again will just be an entertaining game because there's always a fight between Chelsea and Spurs, which is always good fun. So, so the Great London Derby, there's always a fight for some reason.
Yeah.
So again, so look forward to it. Right, before we finish on Ashley's quote, which has made me snigger, don't forget, like, subscribe, become a member of the Patreon. It's great fun, especially if you do the middle tier. We do exclusive shows behind the paywall, and the benefit of that is we can do shows which we can't do on YouTube. So we do things like the vintage shows where we go look at goals from old seasons. I think we've just done the '86 World Cup goals with Phil and Gav. We do a show called Forward Thinking where we review old squads, not just Liverpool. I think we did the Barcelona squad of 2011, just describe every player in 4 words or less. It was ridiculous. I think if you sign up to Patreon now, we've got a Forward Thinking show on Friday, and Kev doesn't know this. We're going to go through the 22 managers of the very first Premier League season. Honestly, Kev, when I found out who they were, there was a couple of them I was like, I don't know who he is. I had to go and Google a couple of them, didn't know who they were. But then you've got the likes of Ron Atkinson and people like that, which will be great fun. George Graham. Fun. Yeah, George Graham.
Do I not like that?
Yeah, George Graham. Which, when you hear the stories about him,
that's Graham Taylor. Sorry,
that's Graham Taylor. I know, I was ignoring you. George Graham. When you hear about what he got a year banned, didn't he? Not long after his first Premier League season. No one talks about that because obviously he won things for Arsenal. But yeah, just little things I think. Oh, so that's
it should be a bit of crack.
Plus, then you also, if you're part of the Patreon, you also get put into the Telegram group, which is just bonkers,
bananas.
You get some great questions. Most of them are just Ashley's random thoughts of the day, which, to be honest, they're brilliant. So, some of the questions that come up.
They haven't been brilliant recently. I feel like I've been off kilter a little bit.
But we can't talk about them, Ashley, because you have to be in the Patreon to hear about them. So, another reason to join Patreon, just so you can hear Ashley's random thoughts. So we'll finish on this quote. Unnamed director of football from the Premier League. This is talking about Hughes and Edwards, I believe.
Yeah.
They are the best in the game. Their combined contact, knowledge, and experience is truly impressive. So I would be very surprised if there wasn't a bigger plan in place. That was a pseudonym written by John W. Henry. That's the bit I actually forgot to put in there. It's not really direct. It's just one of these burner accounts. Yeah, I mean, we've heard that before. I think Kev, wasn't something like that leaked in an article by Ornstein, who we do know is heavily connected to Mr. Edwards. So I'll give my thoughts and I'll let you. And then we'll finish your 2 thoughts. My thoughts is let's talk more action. It's a bit of a let's see what the summer brings. If it's really good, you can have your flowers then. I'm not going to give you anything until let's see what happens first. Do you know what I mean?
I think that this summer I think Arne Slott's going to win the league in his first season. And I think he's going to win it well. And if you turn around and potentially break this side up, which is what I think could be on the cards, you're setting the bar really high for Arne Slot next season, because if you don't start next season, on skates, then the questions are going to come thick and fast and hard at the likes of Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. It's a really difficult job. It's a really difficult summer they've got coming up, but they've had a year to plan this out. Whether it was a plan with the players who we want to extend, or without the players we want to extend, the targets for what they want to build and they'll have the targets for the next 3 windows at least in place of how they want to evolve this squad and bring the average age. I think our average age at the minute is pushing 28. So that average age has to come down, and it still has to be extremely competitive, because it's the one thing that the likes of Man City have already had a jump start in January with making investments for the coming few years. So it's going to be a massive summer. I think the other thing you got to look at as well, Liverpool tend to be the type of club who will front load in a random summer. They will invest heavily in one summer, and then they might be quiet and tinker for the next couple of windows after that. And I think that's what could be on the cards for this summer. I think they could front load and heavily invest this summer. And then you'll see a bit of tinkering around the edges, contract extensions and what have you for the next couple of windows after that. So I'm talking about January and the summer after, and plus they have to assess the young players that they've got coming through. What are they going to do with Ben Doak? They've got Rio and Gamoa. How are they going to develop him? What are they going to do with him? The striker, Dan's, what are they going to do about him? Is he going to be, decisions are all going to have to be made around these young players as well. Serious talents, and we've got to manage that right. Plus, they have to manage future contract extensions that are coming up, the likes of Konate and Alexis McAllister as well. So it's a really big job, and we just hope that we got the right guy. That's all we can do. Sit and wait, trust the process. Love that saying.
Well, that's the other half.
I hate that phrase.
Well, that is the other half of that quote that we, I split it into two.
Okay.
It's fine. It starts as they are the best in the game. Their combined contacts, knowledge, and experience are truly impressive. So I would be very surprised if there wasn't a bigger plan in place at Liverpool. Then it continues, no matter what we see from the outside, my experience suggests you have to trust the process. So yeah, the trust the process is in there. Not my words. They are the words of.
I hate that phrase. It's very Arsenal.
But I will say,
Arsenal,
I do think that there is a level of truth there. There's a kernel of truth in terms of, we have to look at their kind of body of work and what they've done in the past and what they've built at Bournemouth and what they've done and what Edwards specifically has done at Liverpool in the past. And we have to have faith that they do have a plan. I look at Trent, for example, and I think back to when Coutinho left. We were talking about this in the Telegram chat a little bit about how some of us were heartbroken when Coutinho left and how we really kind of saw that as our creative fulcrum. And we were like, what are we going to do when he leaves? And we never really kind of foresaw the way that Klopp was going to reshape the team after Coutinho left. But the creativity came from all over the pitch. It came from areas that we weren't expecting. And we were better after Coutinho left. And I didn't see that coming. I was heartbroken when Coutinho left. And I'm hoping that we see sort of a similar rejig when it comes to a Trent leaving, where all of a sudden we start seeing creativity from parts of the pitch that we maybe haven't seen for 3 or 4 years. And maybe that comes in the form of recruitment. Maybe that comes in the form of new tactics. But I do think that there's going to be, like Kev said, they've known, they at least had a contingency plan for if Trent was going to leave. And they're going to be right there, ready to activate it. And I think what we need to see as fans and, as listeners and stuff, we need to see that plan in motion. Because at this point in time, the blind faith has gotten us to this point. And I think we're all kind of like, okay, like the faith is running out. Like we need to see either signatures on papers or we need to see players coming in the door. We need to see, what the F is actually going on, because we've all really kind of like gone along with this ride. It's gone better than we could have expected, especially with Slot doing his first season. But at this point in time, like we now need to see the cavalry and the reinforcements, and we need to see Slot rewarded for everything that he's delivered with essentially not his squad, something that he's turned into his squad, but he wasn't able to put his touch on this at all. So I want to see where Slot takes it as well. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. I just want to see the team like put that excitement in motion. I think if we can get back onto that good vibes kind of thing and just get the ball rolling toward the end of the season, like there's so many things to look forward to. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see any more of like the negativity coming from the media. I've had enough of that.
Right, so, hey Kev, actually nearly went a whole show about swearing. We did well there.
Almost. I don't know.
That wasn't a swear.
Yeah,
that wasn't a swear.
Scouts people want to know: were you in school with Ashley Young, Kev?
Not quite. Well, in fairness,
how old is Ashley Young now? Like what?
Ashley Young is 39? Ashley Young. Yeah, Ashley Young is a good bit younger than me. Thanks, Pete. I know I didn't go to school in Boston. I went to school in the next state over.
Good old Connecticut.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Went to high school there.
That explains a lot, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right, on that happy note, we'll leave that there. Right, so listen, like, subscribe, become a patron, all that good stuff. We will be back on Wednesday night. Will it be us three and maybe Matt if he can turn up?
I think he's here on Wednesday, and then he's traveling to some sort of weird place in Canada with hot springs.
I know, but he's pretended he's working. He's not. He's just put his feet up. He can't be bothered anymore. So listen. Hopefully, we'll all four will be here on Wednesday. Well, hopefully, we're talking about another Liverpool win and being one more win away from winning this title. Until then, take care. Speak soon.